Hey everybody, it's Chris Kirkpatrick with Life 180, and I am back here with Caleb Williams in the BetterWealth Studios here in Denver, Colorado. It's awesome to be here.
It's good to have you back, man.
Yeah, and so I actually asked Caleb if I could kind of interview him and have a conversation around a topic that I'm going to be focusing a lot more time on. I think helping people because, like offline, I've been having a lot of conversations with people around it, and for everybody who doesn't know the story, Caleb and I met, was it 3 years ago now?
Yeah.
And Caleb and I met because he actually reached out to me through my YouTube channel. And it was when he was first starting kind of like the launch. It wasn't even Better Wealth at the time. I think it was Better Wealth Solutions.
Mm-hmm.
And we just hit it off, and there was a lot of synchronicities. I had gotten out of the life insurance business and just focused on business development and was pivoting to that at the time. And, Caleb starting off Better Wealth, he had a different vision. And, while we had all of, kind of like the same perspectives, and we were definitely in alignment on where we kind of like how we felt people should be guided with their personal finances, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
The other place that we were really in alignment on was how to reach people.
Right.
And you've had a massively audacious goal of serving 1 million people.
Yep.
And I think anybody who's a life insurance agent that hears that number thinks you're an absolute lunatic. I don't think you're a lunatic at all. And I think it's been awesome to see you kind of grow into it and scale and see the tools that you've created. And, it's been awesome to be able to help you with some of this stuff and be involved. And I think it's really exciting, some of the stuff that we're doing. But where we are right now in the world, last year was a really challenging time for people.
Right.
You've always been in the digital space. And, I think it's interesting because last year in 2020, when a lot of life insurance agents struggled, when a lot of real estate agents struggled,
right.
Anybody that had to basically do outdoor sales, like,
right.
and it was involved in networking or, the classic old way of doing things. A lot of those people struggled, whereas you thrived. I mean,
right.
your business, what did it double last year?
Yeah, we did pretty well.
Yeah, you did okay.
Yeah.
So I've been saying this for a long time. Like, COVID is pushing us 5 years into the future technologically, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting for somebody who's in your position, who for several years before COVID was trying to get people to come to you with technology. You've been using all this stuff. So you're like way ahead of the curve.
Yep.
And kind of what we're doing is way ahead of the curve. But the people weren't necessarily ready for it yet. And was that a barrier for you initially?
Yeah. I mean, for those of you that have not heard my story, I took over a bank's investment department when I was 19 years old. And I've always been passionate about helping people reach their highest potential as it relates to money. And one of the reasons why I left the bank was had an amazing relationships, love the people there. But quite frankly, I just wasn't able to serve people. I wasn't able to do what I felt like my God-given mission was, is to actually help people. And because I could help people, but I could only help them if they came to me. And the thing that attracted me to the internet, Chris, was there's this amazing tool that's free that you can create something, that you can create education, you can create value, and people all around the world can tap into that and then obviously work with you. And so I remember telling people this. And number one, when we started BetterWealth Solutions at the time, I was 21 years old. I graduated college. Normally, people have one more year of college. Then you're lucky if you get an internship.
Yep.
So starting a financial company and being so young, number one, was probably super foolish. Okay. Number two, people are like, nobody will listen to you or work with you online. And then when I told them that, it's like, listen, people will be all around the country, all over the world. They could come to us because of the internet, and they're like, that just won't happen.
Right.
To date, we have clients in all 50 states. We have partners in Canada. I know that we can help people in Canada.
Yep.
And it's just remarkable. We have a team of over 15 people, and the whole company is built and is growing because we're leveraging the internet to, number one, educate. We're using the internet to bring people in. We're also using technology to better serve people. And yeah, we're far from perfect. One of the things
Of
that
course.
when you come up, we always whiteboard. How can we provide more value? How can we do things better? But it's so shocking to me, the same people that I wouldn't say mocked, that might be a little extreme, but the same people that said this wasn't possible are now coming to us and saying, how did you do that again?
Yeah, exactly.
Like last year they're like, what is Zoom?
Yeah.
And they're and the fact that we're
Yeah.
that we're doing some of the most intimate things with people's money over the internet,
Yeah.
doing it better than them even in person, and
Mhm.
doing it more effective is definitely bringing people into our ecosystem and giving us a lot of opportunities across the board to provide value. But it just more solidifies that this is where the future is, and the
Mm.
people that aren't willing to innovate will die. And my
100%.
my challenge to the companies that we work with is, listen, it's only a matter of time until Jeff Bezos gets in this business and everyone's screwed if you don't
Totally.
innovate.
Yeah.
And I'm dead serious. Like
Yeah.
we've built our business. Like I'm deferring all profit and pouring it back into the business, pouring it back into technology, actually trying to innovate in such a way that's like, I have no interest to selling anything. I want to help people get results. I want the metric that matters to be results.
Mhm.
And I want to do everything with your time and money. I want to build the company that helps you get that result. And the internet has only poured gasoline on that mission.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, okay, so let's talk about, obviously you're extremely driven. You're very mission driven.
Yep.
And that's phenomenal. And I think that's extremely unique, to at least to the level that you are. I mean, a lot of people have a why statement at this point
Yep.
in time, and that's not so unique anymore like it was 10 years ago. But with everything that, with all the transitions, I'll say, that have happened in the world, in behavior of people,
Mhm.
quarantining, not wanting to go out, not wanting to do coffee, not wanting to do dinner or lunch, or have those conversations that most life insurance agents have relied on for years.
Yep.
Right, coming into your office and sitting at your conference table and all these things. And so I can speak to us and like the people that I know that I've just referred to you, and I know it's been more premium that has been done over the internet than most people,
Yeah. Most
most
people could
agents will
dream to
do
do
in
in
their
an
lifetime,
agency. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so like, and that's just like one stream,
Yeah.
right? Like, so you guys are building out. I mean, you have your podcast, you have your online systems, you have your YouTube channel. We do work together
Mm-hmm.
on my YouTube channel. There's you do Instagram. There's all these different things.
Not well, but
Not well,
yes.
but you do it.
Yeah.
You're there. You're
Yeah.
there. So the question really becomes for me, and what I'm trying to like
Yeah.
really almost beat people over the head with, because it's so vital, is that if you're not moving online, you will die. You like adapt or die.
Yeah.
You will go out of business.
Yep.
You will go broke. You will slowly be cannibalized by the people that innovate.
Yep.
Period. Like there's no
Yep.
way around it. And like either he's gonna do it to you or somebody else is. Like, and it's not him doing it to you. It's
Yep.
just people are attracted to that. Like
Yep.
we talk a lot about the fact, and one of the reasons I love the internet, and I think one of the reasons that you are so successful at the internet, is because the financial system as a whole is busted. And the idea of like product sales, make no mistake about it, all investments are product sales. Like they're like mutual fund sales, it's a product. 401k, it's a product. Life insurance, annuities,
Everything's
bonds, disability insurance, it's all products, right? And so that's the problem. And the bigger problem is people have a serious lack of education with financial literacy and
Yep.
understanding. And like, to me, that's where our government has let the country down the most. And I don't think it's an accident that it's happened that way. I think, they side note, I think they don't want most Americans to be well educated financially, because you become dependent on the government when you're not. And so what I love about what you've done, and what I love about the internet in general, is it gives you an opportunity to pivot, reach people at a different level, reach people where they are,
Mm-hmm.
and not come at it from a place of product sales. You can come at it from a place of service, from a place
Right.
of education, from a place of like creating tools that serve people, that can genuinely build up trust.
Right.
Because that's the direction we're going right now.
Right. And instead of me coming to you,
Yeah.
it's created an area where you can come to me,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm putting myself out there, but I'm not making you feel pressure. And I'm
Yeah,
telling you that has changed the game across the board.
for sure. Everybody wants to do what's best for themselves, for their family, for their
Yep,
business. Nobody wants to be sold anything,
that's right.
right? And if you're watching this and you're an entrepreneur, I know you'll resonate with this statement. You're a smart person. You're successful. You've built your business. You're way more nimble and able to create than 99% of the people out there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want some, you know, salesperson coming to you just saying, hey, you need life insurance, or hey, you need this, or hey, you need that. You want to know that no matter what you're doing, that you understand it, that you buy into it. You want to know how it plays into your life. You want to know how you can leverage it. You want to know, like, you want to know all the moving parts, and you want to know not just about that one's piece, but like, how does it impact the rest of your life? How does it impact your business and your life and your retirement and like all the moving parts to it? And that's kind of like where your financial x-ray comes in. But it talk to me for a sec, and like, let's get right to the point here about how important do you see it that people have some sort of online system?
Yeah. And the word system is really key, because you can have a website, you can have a funnel, you could have videos, you could have YouTube. But the problem is, majority of it's not all working together. One of the best things that I did last year, we had our best year yet, and it was the year that I took myself out of the business. And it's like, again, that was a choice that I made, because if we're actually going to impact 1 million people, I need to actually, my actions need to follow the words that I say. So what we needed to do is we needed to build a system to say, how do we scale? How do we work? How do we serve people better? And yes, I love working with people. It's something that I love to do. But at the end of the day, like, we needed to create a system so that whether I get hit by a bus or not, it's not going to be an excuse of not reaching that goal. And then with that, the internet, a lot of people mix this stuff up. It's actually a 2-part deal. You need to build a system, and it needs to be able to work whether you're in person. So it's like, everything can work when you're in person, right? Build it, and then say, how do you take this thing called Google? How do you take this thing called technology? How do you just optimize it?
Yeah.
How do you actually launch and advance and optimize what you're currently doing? I think a lot of times people just get so caught up and they get romantic about the internet, and it makes them sloppy. And that's where we're still working on. It's like, oh, it's too easy. No, like, you got to build the system. But then you have a lot of people that have built it. They've done it. They've crushed it 15 years ago. And now are like, they're not even relevant anymore because they're not using technology. So it's really, and I know that you do a lot of serving people and are able to, like, show people where they're going, show them where they're at, help them optimize. Like, whether it's you, Chris, or whether it's someone else, I would highly, highly recommend them really dial in what's going on.
Totally.
And a lot of people don't even know their problem.
Oh no. I mean, like, I see it all the time. I mean, one of the things I do is I go into any kind of business owner or agent or what have you, and try to figure out, like let me start that over. Leads,
not an issue.
Well, not an issue.
A lot of people think leads is their problem, and it's a lack of systems is their problem.
Sure. And if you get leads and you don't have a system to put them in, then I could give you 1,000 of the best, highest quality leads in the world. But if you don't know how to handle them, and if you don't have a system to build trust with them and to establish a relationship, and to get it so you're not selling them something, but they're on a like a process of self-discovery, so to speak, where they can actually, at some point in time, the only sale is for them to join your community. For them to say, yes, I'm interested in possibly learning from somebody like Caleb, like, watching a video, something similar to this, where they can see somebody like Caleb or you, if you make your own content and you have a system that you put it into, where in that system, they watch this video and they say, that made sense to me. I really like Caleb's perspective. I like Chris's perspective. I like this. I like that. Like, I'm going to go to this person's site and I'm going to try, like, they have a free offering for like a free book. I'm very curious to see what that book says. Well, as soon as they get that book, like, you have a relationship with them. People, the problem is most people don't have systems to actually leverage the fact that you gave that book away. And I mean, we've talked about this even for you. Like, it's really hard thing to make sure that when you bring people in and you get them and you serve them and you give them a free book and you give them free content, and like you want to do that, but at the same time, you have to make sure it's like when the plane's going down, the first person you put the oxygen on is yourself, because if you don't do that, you can't take care of the person next to you.
Yep.
And it's like, as the business owner, as the salesperson or life insurance agent, if you truly believe what you can do can impact people's lives, and if you do it right, I believe wholeheartedly it can for you. Like, it's on you to make sure that you have systems that can make it so you can truly serve people while remaining profitable.
Yep.
Right? Because otherwise, you're just going to go crazy trying
Mhm.
to manage everything that can be created on the front end. And so, yes, leads, like the old thing is like, leads are the lifeblood of every business, right? Like, that's half true. Leads, but the system is the most important part. And you need to have leads that come into that system. But it's not necessarily just leads. It's like, put yourself out there, be an expert, like spend the time on your craft. And there's to invest in yourself, to create content, to establish authority, to listen. Caleb's doing it on a national level. I'm doing it on a national level, international level in a lot of ways. You could do it locally and just crush it right now. Like,
Yeah.
you could. Like, if you're a property casualty insurance person, if you're a real estate person,
Name an industry.
like name an industry. If it involves sales that you like.
Well, what did we eat for lunch today?
Chipotle.
They have they put a ton of money in their app, and it's really good,
and it's working.
And they were packed when we went to pick up our food
on the shelves, people picking up their food.
So the fact of the matter is, like, any industry, you name it, like, needs to innovate and can better serve, way better serve. We got our food quicker. We got it. It was amazing, and yet we exchanged, like, they made money. You know, so it's one of those things where whatever industry that you're in, I highly recommend you work with someone that understands what's going on, whether it's Chris, whether it's someone that you know, and really, here's the thing. Remember those two things. You need the system first. You have a broken system, I don't care how much money you pour into technology, it's not going to work. And then you got to then figure out the best way to bring in technology into a system. Anything else that you want to say?
Well, I would just be curious to ask you a question here. So this is what I do. Obviously, I go into businesses all the time and look at their system and find where it's broken and fix it. I'd be curious, like, because you're going through transitions right now, you're building out new systems as you're creating your new programs and ways to serve people that are not product driven, right? Because the way that you truly want to show up and serve people more powerfully. So in doing that, you're kind of like looking deep into your own thing. Like, if you don't mind, like, where are you guys, like, discovering that system?
Two things I can tell you. Number one, we're going to be less of a buy this product, because we set up great products for people, and at the end of the day, we're like, we are here to coach, and a lot of people are getting amazing products and they're not using it well. So we are developing and spending hundreds of thousands of dollars developing models that our coaches use, that no matter what situation you're in, we can show you exactly where you're at, and we can start putting actual numbers and simple 2-line graph on where you are. And so, number one, that's part of the process, because I know, Chris, if people come and go through our process, they will want to work with us, because they'll say, no one has ever showed me this. Right. No one has ever showed me this. And so, in full transparency, we're still in the final stages of actually building that out, and our beta has been off the charts. So that's an example of investing in something that is going to move the needle. The other area is a follow-up. It's simple. You have some crazy software that you showed us. Just by lack of doing follow-up, we're cutting 1/3 of the profit out. And if we would do a better job following up, that's way extra impact and money and profit that we could be making. And so that's another example of those are the two things that I think we need to, number one, understand the problem, fix the problem, and then use technology to tie it in.
And I would add to that for that third of profit, it's even more people that are just like left floundering, who kind of like try to opt into your world and are asking for help, that if you don't have a system in place that like wraps them in support, then, and education, then, unless you have amazing people like you do, I mean, you guys are making up for it with effort right now.
And good looks,
and
you know.
I'll tell Dom you said that about him.
Yeah.
So like you make it up with
Yeah.
effort right now, but if you guys were solely relying on technology,
Yeah.
it'd be really bad.
Yeah.
Right.
100%. And I always want to optimize. I
Yeah.
always want to make what we're
Yep.
doing better.
Yep. And so like, I think it's a balance always, and it's never going to be like this overnight thing, especially the bigger you want to make it, the better you want to make it, the crazier it is. But what I know is where most people are, it's not that hard to do something significant, to create a system that will make your life easier as the salesperson in whatever industry you're in. Even if you're selling products, like it'll make your life easier, and you'll be able to serve people, and you'll be able to scale it so you can reach more people with less effort. And that's what systems are supposed to be. And the biggest barrier before, just to recap, is before COVID, like a lot of people were not ready for this. Yeah. Now you have grandmothers and grandfathers and everybody who are just like fluent with Zoom. You know what I mean? Like
it's crazy. It's an amazing thing.
It really, like a lot of people are freaking out that, you know, they're losing opportunity because they can't reach people. Well, if you just come to where the people are and like get used to the technology, you're going to be dealing with a bigger slice of the pie against a smaller piece, you know, of competition. So anyway, I hope that helps. Anything else from you?
No, man. I appreciate you asking the questions.
Yeah, man. That's awesome. Thanks for having that conversation. So anyway, guys, I hope that helps. If that did, or if you have any questions, look below. Make sure you click the subscribe button, click the bell. That way you get notified every time we put out a new video. And I definitely look forward to seeing you on the next video. Until then, have a blessed, inspirational day. Go out and crush it. We'll see you then.